All right, here we go. So last year, at the end of the year, I wrote a long diary entry just talking about my year and my New Year's resolutions and what I wanted to accomplish in 2025 and everything I did in 2024. And as I was writing it, I was like, this would be so much easier if I was just talking and making like a video, recording myself, just go through my year. And I like to look back and watch my old YouTube videos. So I thought this would be a good opportunity for my future self. You know, I'm doing this to look back on one day, and I'm going to be doing 3 parts to my New Year series, I guess. Part one, which is this one, we're going to be talking about just my year, how 2025 went, the ups and the downs, and just everything that kind of happened in my life in 2025. The part two of this video or this series will be talking about my resolutions I set at the beginning of 2025 and how I did. Because, spoiler alert, I did not do everything I wanted to do. Part three of the series is going to be my resolutions for 2026, my goals, my intentions, just what I want this year to look like. So, part one, we're going to be talking about my year, last year, because it's already after the new year. So, let me actually start in 2024. 2024 was a big year for me. It was my first year post college, so I graduated December 2023. So, this was my first year as like an adult, like in the real world. I moved to another state. I got my first big girl job. I moved in with my boyfriend, who is now my fiance. So a lot of changes. The biggest one being that I got injured and tore my labrum in my hip, and then I was not able to work out for the whole year, pretty much. I tore my labrum in my hip, and at the end of 2024, the reason why I'm talking about 2024 is because I had to get 2 major hip surgeries at the very end of 2024. So, as you can imagine, 2025 started out with me not being able to do much. I was on crutches for 7 weeks. So, I was on crutches for most of January. I was not able to go home for the holidays. I was not able to see my family. So it was kind of a bummer time. I was very bored, very in pain, just upset. It was not really the best time. The good thing about it though, because you know, we're trying to be positive, trying to see the good in every moment of the year. The good thing about it is I did get a break from work. I'm on my feet all day at work for my job, so being on crutches was not something I could do while I was working. So I did have to take 4 weeks off of work. So it was nice to just have a break, not have to go to work, just kind of relax, watch Christmas movies, just relax and recover. So that was really, really nice towards the end, because by like week 3 and 4, and I was like kind of out of my post-surgery haze. I wasn't on all the medicines I was at first. I was just getting bored and I was getting frustrated, and I'm used to being so active, so just sitting around all day, like I wasn't able to sleep because I wasn't doing anything during the day. Eventually I did go back to work. I was very grateful that I was able to go back to work even while I was still on crutches. I was able to just do some desk work for a little bit. So I wasn't back fully. I was still considered on leave, but I was able to come back to work eventually, which was nice. I couldn't even drive myself to work. My boyfriend had to drive me to work, and I'm just so thankful for him and all the things he did for me to get me through that time. But I was able to go back to work, which was great because I was bored out of my mind, and I was also not getting paid. I did not have paid leave, so I was ready to start making money again. Yeah, so that was pretty much the first like part of my year. Was I was doing a lot of physical therapy, just you know, twice a day, every single day, was going in 2 to 3 times a week to do actual physical therapy, like with a therapist. So I was just doing a lot to heal and recover. I'm not gonna lie, like that is the hard part. The easy part was just relaxing after surgery, laying in bed. That was the most painful part because I literally could not sit up and go to the bathroom on my own. Like I could not do anything by myself for the first week or so. But honestly, that was the easy part because I just got to hang out. But once you start actually recovering and having to put in the work, like that is the hard part. And I'm still in 2026, I'm still going to be working on my recovery because I'm not fully there yet. But I get back to work. The spring is mostly focused on recovery. I'm slowly getting back into the gym. I'm, you know, like I said earlier, physical therapy. Then I get a promotion at work, miraculously. I got promoted to manager position and I had interviewed 3 different times for this promotion and I finally got it. So it was really rewarding, especially with how the past few months had gone. It was really just a good moment for me. With that, I also had a lot of imposter syndrome. I'll talk about that more later. But this year I had a lot of imposter syndrome that I had to get over. You know, I'm one of the youngest people who I work with, and a lot of like people who I manage now, they're younger or they're older than me. They've been working for the company longer than me, and so it's just been really difficult for me to be like, okay, you're meant to be here. You know, they picked you for this role for a reason. They picked you over other people. They believe, like my managers believed I could do it. So I just was dealing a lot of imposter syndrome. But yeah, I got promoted in March, end of March. And then so I moved to another place, kind of started, you know, my new role was a little different. And I mostly just was doing that, nothing really too exciting. I mean, in the mix there, my friend Abby was getting married, so we went on her bachelorette trip, which I did make a video for her for. It's actually my last video I uploaded, so it's a really fun video. We went to Savannah, Georgia, so it was a lot of fun. Check it out if you would like. It was a really fun trip. And then in May, I went on a trip with my sister and my cousins, and you know, we just did like a cousin trip, and I got engaged. My fiance proposed to me on our cousin trip, and it was so funny because he told my sister about it and she was the only one who knew and nobody else knew. And the day before, he came like the second day of the trip, and on the first day of the trip it was just us, like the girls just kind of talking, and I was like, I feel like he might propose to me, but I don't know, I'm not sure. And I was kind of like reading everyone's reactions. I was like, I feel like he would have told you guys if he was gonna do it. And one of my cousins was like, well, he didn't tell me anything, and so I don't think he is. And it was true, she didn't know, only my sister knew. And so we were at the beach and we were all taking pictures, and then he proposes to me on the beach in front of my sister and all my cousins, and it was just so special. I just started bawling my eyes out. I was just crying and crying and crying. I was so happy, and it was just the perfect moment, you know, just with the people I love the most, and I just wouldn't have had it any other way. So we got engaged in May. So another fun thing about 2026 is that it is a wedding year. I'm gonna be planning a wedding, so that is really, really exciting. Next is, let's see, we got engaged, and then the summer, I was just really trying to have the most fun I could this year. On my 2025 goal board, I guess, that I'll go over in the next video, I had written the year of fun and fitness. So I really wanted to just focus on having a good time, you know, romanticizing every stage of life, just getting to be with people I love. Just since I was so like isolated at the beginning of 2025 and at the end of 2024, I just really wanted to just have fun and make the most of it, and I feel like I did. Me and my fiance went to the beach with his family. We also went to our friend's parents' lake house, I guess their house, they just live there. But we, you know, got to take a couple trips to the lake, which was really, really fun. I got to go to West Palm Beach to meet up with another friend, and we had a weekend together, and it was just so much fun. So I feel like I really tried to make the most out of my summer. And we also, like, we have a pool here, so we, you know, we're going to the pool a lot, and then there's a beach nearby, so we would just drive to the beach a couple times, and it was just really great. So in August, I got another promotion. I promoted, and this was a much bigger role. So my first management position, I was only over probably like 4 employees at the most. And my new role, I'm over 15 employees. So it was a big jump. And like I said, the imposter syndrome was eating me alive. Like, I was really not confident in myself the way my managers and my coworkers were. Like, I was just really doubting myself, and I'm still kind of getting through it, but I've been learning, you know, I'm here for a reason. Like I said, they would not have put me in this position if they didn't think I was the best person for the job. That's something I've been reminding myself over and over again. And it's just, I've moved up very quickly, because I started at this company in February 2024. And then keep in mind, I was out for 4 weeks at the end of 2024. So within that almost 2 years now, I've gotten two different promotions into like manager positions. And it's just been a lot. I've never had this much responsibility before, and I've always prided myself, like, I'm good in a fast-paced environment, I'm good at working with a team, I'm good at working under pressure, stuff like that, but never have I been tested to this extent. And it was really taking a toll on my mental health, because at the same time I was also still going to the gym. At this point, I had really been trying to amp up my fitness and just really try to get my strength back from before I got surgery, or really before I got injured, because not only did I get injured at the beginning of 2024, I wasn't able to exercise that whole year until like really May of this year. So, or May of, I guess, 2025. So there was a lot of strength I had to make up. Like, I was so weak after the surgery. So I really had to make up that strength. So I was working on that. And I was also adjusting to a new job. I had all these new responsibilities. And at the same time, you know, I was newly engaged. We're thinking about the wedding now. So I just had a lot on my plate, and it was really weighing on my mental health. And, you know, August is when I got promoted, but really, like, September is when I noticed it really starting to negatively affect me. October, we had our engagement party. So that was really, really fun. I got to see some friends I hadn't seen in forever, and I got to see family. I got to meet a lot of my fiance's family who I had not met before. So it was a really fun time. I tell everybody that was one of the first times I've not regretted being hungover, because we just had such a good time. It was so fun. But even then, like, I had to request off work because I work on Sundays, and I was getting a lot of, like, they were giving me a really hard time about just taking a day off, and it was just a lot, and just all this stuff was piling up, and like, I thought I may have re-injured my hip because it started hurting again for a little bit, and so that was weighing on me, and it just all came crashing down. My mental health totally collapsed. I was just so depressed. I felt like a zombie. I was just going through the motions. It was really bad, and I was so burnt out. Like, for the longest time, I didn't have a weekend. I was off. My off days were Wednesdays and Saturdays. So I just had no time. And even on my days off, like, I was getting work calls and stuff. So I've honestly struggled with depression and anxiety since like middle school on and off. So I recognized it quickly, and I also was seeing a therapist. So I kind of mentioned it to her, and she was like, well, how about you like go see a psychiatrist and see if you can get medication. In the past, I always just had this idea that like seeing a psychiatrist has to be like all this work, like there's months and months and months long wait lists, and then even then like just every time you go it's gonna be so long and you don't know if they'll even help you, and then the medicine they give you may not even work, and it's just this long dragging process. That's just like how I thought it was gonna be. But I remembered ZocDoc exists. I heard about it obviously from like YouTube sponsorships. I'm sure everybody who is big on YouTube has been sponsored by ZocDoc. So I just remembered, how about I try ZocDoc? So I went on ZocDoc and it was free, and I was able to get an appointment with a psychiatrist like within the week. I don't remember if it was like the next couple days or if it was the week after, but I was able to do it really fast, and I was like, thank goodness. So if you are struggling with anything, I highly recommend ZocDoc. Like, I don't know if I just haven't been in like reality for the past 10 years, because I'm sure that's like a thing that everybody knows about, but it was so easy to I just did it online. I didn't have to make phone calls. I didn't have to do anything like that. I just booked it online, and it was a Zoom call. We're like a, telehealth. I was able to talk to a psychiatrist and get the help I needed and get the medication to help me feel better. And it worked really well. Really well. And I've tried a couple medications in the past. I've had like hesitation to medication for mental health, and that's just because of like other things that I don't want to get into, but I was like, you know what? I'm just going to get the help I need. I'm an adult. Nobody else is going to do this for me. I'm going to need to do this for myself. And she prescribed me medication, and it worked. So I've been doing so much better, and I've not felt this good in a long, long time. And I really just wanted to enjoy the fall months. Like, it does not get cold where I live. And so once the weather starts getting like bearable to be outside, you're like, bust out the flannels and the Uggs, like it's fall season. So I've just really tried to enjoy it. We did, we went out on Halloween, we did a pumpkin patch, just fun stuff like that. And then November is my birthday, so me and my fiance, we just celebrated my birthday. It was really special. He, gave me a surprise, and he took me to see a show, and I was really, really thankful for that. And then I got to see my family for Thanksgiving, and it was crazy because since I had gotten surgery and since I had moved away and got surgery in 2024, I had not seen a lot of my family since last Thanksgiving. And my family's big, but it's not like that big, and we all live close together. Like, we all live only a couple hour drive from each other, except for me because I moved away. So some family I've not seen since last Thanksgiving, and that is crazy for me, for my family. Like, we don't go that long without seeing each other. And so I just was like, oh my gosh, and I was just so thankful to get to spend time with them. I only had a couple days off work. Like, I only had like Thanksgiving and then the 2 days after, like the Friday and Saturday off. I had to be back at work on Sunday. My schedule did change. I no longer am off on Wednesdays and Saturdays. I actually have 2 days in a row that I'm off. Thank goodness. But I got to see family. We spent time with my family. We spent time with Colin's family. It was just really great. We just got to see everybody, and I was so, so happy. Same thing for Christmas. I wasn't able to see some of Colin's family because I did have to work Christmas Eve, but I was able to spend Christmas Day with my family. We just had a great time. We rarely hang out with just like my parents and my siblings and now my fiance. And it's just such a great time when we all just don't do anything else. You know, we all kind of live our separate lives. We all kind of do our own thing, but when we all get to just be together, like that is so special. So special. And it was the first year my fiance was there for Christmas. So, you know, since, you know, we're getting married next year, next Christmas we'll be husband and wife. So it was really special that we all got to spend time together. And then of course we got to see our extended family. We got to see Colin's mom, and it was just great. It was a great end to 2025. And I'm sure you've noticed, but my theme for this year, it was gratitude. You know, I said the year of fun and fitness, which it was. I did get back into shape and I did have a lot of fun. But another thing I've been practicing is gratitude. And if you are going through a tough time, that's been the biggest thing that has helped me, is just finding things to be thankful for. And I actually did last year 2025, we did a gratitude jar, and every week we just wrote on a little sticky note something we are thankful for, and we just put it in the little jar, and it is completely full now. We still need to go through it and see all the great things, but showing gratitude has just helped me out so much in all the ups and downs. Like when I couldn't even sit up by myself right after I got surgery, all I could think about was, I'm so thankful to have people to take care of me right now. I'm so thankful to have someone help me sit down onto the toilet and go to the bathroom. I'm so thankful to have somebody who will cook me meals and give me the medicine. I don't even have to think about what I'm doing because he will just do it for me, you know. And my mom came and visited while I got surgery, or after I got surgery, so I was just so thankful for her. And throughout the year, even in my darkest times, like showing gratitude and just, you know, being thankful really helped see the light, I guess, in the dark times. A mindset that I was introduced to this year was this phrase, not I have to go to work, I get to go to work. Not I have to work out, I get to work out. Because when you're disabled, like I was temporarily, I could not do anything, I got to the point where I wanted to go back to work. And like work was, like I did not like my job. And I got to the point where I wanted to go back to work. And just no matter how tough things are, no matter how hard you are on yourself and how much you think maybe you're out of shape or you're just not doing well, your life sucks, there's somebody who wishes they could have what you have. You know, I've been hard on myself about my fitness. It's been tough trying to get my strength back this year because I know I used to be so strong before I got injured, but I always remind myself, like, somebody thinks I'm the most fit person ever. You know, somebody wants to be as fit as I am right now. And, you know, just being grateful for everything that you have and writing down that on those little sticky notes every week really helped me think about that and just remind myself, even just like in the mornings, like I'm so thankful for the sunrise. It's such a beautiful morning. Just stuff like that. But anyway, that is everything. New Year's Eve and New Year's Day I had to work, so I did not do any celebrating. So that was pretty boring and anticlimactic. But 2026, new year. So this concludes part 1. Part 2, I'm going to be talking about my New Year's resolutions I had for 2025 and what I accomplished, what I didn't accomplish. And then part 3, I'm going to be talking about 2026 and what I want to accomplish this year. So stay tuned for that. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.